by the man, the myth, the legend, Lawrence Sutton, and the Giles County Rattlesnake, Chris Morris. Guys, it's so good to see you again back on this beautiful Monday. We've had some good weather.
Yeah, we have. We had some beautiful weather.
Wish we could get a little rain.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to get that either Wednesday or Thursday.
I think more towards Thursday.
Could be.
Glad to be here.
Yes,
Shout out to Strikers.
Shout out to Strikers Steakhouse. Went there for lunch today. Had a great meal, great service.
Wait a minute, my phone didn't
I
ring.
know, guys. I know. I wish I could get everybody there all the time. But if you want something good to eat, I'm just here to tell you need to go to Strikers right now.
I agree. Amen.
Order pickup, order takeout, get over there and get you something to eat. Shout out to our good friends at Strikers. Folks, you better buckle up, okay, because we have got one more show for you today.
Can I make a statement?
But before that, yes, sir, Chris, please.
I just wanted to, Lawrence and I on Free Speech News Friday, I have a very, very dear friend that means a lot to me. He is a police chief over in Linville, Tennessee, named Teddy Loftus. He worked for Etheridge Police Department for a few years, did a great job at Etheridge, great job in Linville. He's been in law enforcement 52 years. I got the phone call you don't like to get last night at 6:15 that Teddy had died. And appreciate everybody with the prayers, and just please keep his wife Teresa and children and grandchildren in your prayers. And great guy. They told me the funeral arrangements are incomplete at this time, but it will be up in Sumner County, up in Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's where Teddy lives. So tremendous loss, still active, 52 years in law enforcement.
Wow.
Great career and great individual, great friend that I'm going to miss dearly.
Yes, sir. Well, let's do a little moment of silence for him, and amen.
Yep.
Amen.
So buckle up.
Buckle up, folks. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. So I'll go ahead and break the ice a little bit on what we're going to talk about. Folks, the manifesto, part of the manifesto.
Yeah, like three pages.
3 pages of the manifesto from the Covenant shooter in Nashville back in March has been released. We won't talk about the capacity of which it was released because I don't know enough to talk about it. I know Louder with Crowder, I believe, is the one who released it. He's on Twitter. Stephen Crowder. Republican voice, conservative voice. He's not right all the time, but he's says some pretty good stuff, I think, in my opinion. That's a whole nother can of worms. We can get into that at a later time. But, folks, we've been telling y'all, and I've spoke about it on this show of what information that I had in confidence, and we've talked about it, gosh, I don't know, probably over a dozen times in some capacity. Of what she said.
She was a female.
She said in her writings, and now we have part of the proof of what she said. And we're going to go through it, folks. I'm going to read it. Obviously, you guys interject whenever. If Lawrence, if you want to say a couple things before we actually start reading the bare bones of it, folks, it's disgusting. There's some terrible, terrible language. Obviously, we're going to do our best to kind of communicate that without using the foul language.
Correct.
But you will be able to pick up what we're putting down, as they say.
The only comment once you get started, I want you to go. I'm just going to mention that this person, this female, targeted Christian white children.
Yep, absolutely did.
So it was a very targeted shooting. We know we've got rumors that at first she looked at Opry Mills and knew they had armed security. I think she even looked at
another school.
At Centennial, if I'm correct on that. Of course, they have school resource officers, and that deterred her. And then where she actually attended school, she targeted her own school.
Yep.
And what's funny about it is not only did she target her own school, but when Kip reads this, she's targeting the person that she was or what she used to be. And it's kind of funny. I mean, that's what a lot of the people that, we say are liberals or they're on the left, they want to project onto you what they are.
Yep.
and they're masters at doing this.
Yep.
And you know, we tend to call it, or your generation calls it, gaslighting. Mm-hmm. You know, they like to gaslight.
Yep.
But yeah, I've read it. What she had said. You know, there's 3 pages that's been released.
Yep.
And it's really vile.
It's awful.
It is.
It's some really dark stuff we're about to break into, folks. I mean, it's bad. So you need to really buckle in, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to try to kind of go in order. I don't really know. We might get a little out of whack, but we're going to give you the meat of it straight. I mean, I'm looking right at it. I'm going to give you straight information as it comes. We'll go page by page, and we'll talk about it. So first page that I'm going to read here is dated February the 3rd, 2023. There's some kind of scribbling at the top. Don't really, you know, it's kind of unreadable. But first line, kill those kids, underlined with 3 exclamation points. Then under that, it says, those crackers, going to their private fancy schools with those fancy khakis and sports backpacks, with their daddy's money Mustangs and convertibles. F you, you little expletives. I wish to shoot you and your weak expletive with your mopped yellow hair. I'm going to kill all of you little crackers, bunch of little expletives with your white privilege, F you expletives. And then that, again, you can, I'm not going to say the expletive on the air, but you can, it starts with an F and end with an S.
It's like go copulate with yourself.
Yeah, go copulate with yourself. Yeah. So that's the first page right there. So, again, she targeted children, kids that were white Christians. And this is in February. This is the month before.
That's correct.
On February the 3rd is the date she wrote that.
This is what it was dated.
Isn't it funny that even today, and they knew this 7 months ago, this manifesto, that this has never been labeled a hate crime or a domestic terrorist. Mm-hmm.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something. If this isn't a hate crime or domestic terrorism, then how can you label anything, any kind of hate crimes? And I'm not one of these people that believe in hate crimes. I'm just going to tell you this, because hate crime, if you do a crime and you kill people,
it's a crime.
It's a crime. And you're doing it in hate. When you kill somebody like this, it's a hate crime.
Yeah.
But we want to go and we want to single out and say, okay, well, this is a hate crime or this is domestic terrorism. But you know what? If our leaders can't take this incident and label it as such, then any kind of labels are subjective and useless in my opinion.
And you know, folks, I don't want this to be misconstrued. I'm not doing this on my show for any kind of political gain. We've never done that. No. I'm just telling you, and Lawrence and Chris can back me up, I am reading this directly from what I've got that was in the manifesto. I'm not messing with anything. I'm not misquoting anything.
We're just cleaning up the language.
We're just taking some of that language out, trying to keep it as family-friendly as possible, even though this is some dark material. I'm just trying to clean up the language a little bit, and we're talking about it. So this will be the second page that I'm about to read, and then the third page is the actual schedule, folks. She had a schedule of the day that she was planning on going and killing these children. So the second page, at the top of the page, it says Death Day with some kind of symbol in the middle, not whatever. And then on the right, the top right of the page, she drew a handgun pointed at what looks like could be a person or a target. I'll leave that up to interpretation, and it's dated 3/7/23. Death Day. Today is the day. The day has finally come! Exclamation point. I can't believe it's here. I don't know how I was able to get this far, but here I am. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited too. I've been excited for the past 2 weeks. There were several times where I could have been caught, especially in the summer of 2021. None of that matters now. I'm almost an hour and 7 minutes away. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm ready. I hope my victims aren't.
Of course they weren't.
That is
ready.
disgusting. My only fear is if anything goes wrong. I'll do my best to prevent any of the sort. God, let my wrath take over my anxiety. It might be 10-minute stops. It might be 3 to 7 minutes. It's going to go quick. I really hope I have a high death count. I'm ready to die. Ha ha ha. That's the second page.
Wow. I wonder what God she's communicating with on that.
The only thing, and it's easy to do this.
Yep.
Because you're trying to be so accurate. It was actually March 27th, the day of the shooting.
Yes.
That she did that.
Yeah, 3:27. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the day of, and then like I said, she said, I'm an hour and, what did I say?
Hour and 7 minutes.
Hour and 7 minutes away. So that's the day of, folks, right there. That's that page.
So it's premeditated.
Yep. Premeditated. Again.
And she had a target of
Christian,
Christian
white children.
White children. Mm-hmm. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yep.
And the thing about it, do we actually know anything about her mental stability other than she was identifying as a male?
Yeah, but here's the thing though, Chris, is in society today, we're taking mental illness that needs to be treated, and we're calling it normal. Not only are we calling it normal, we're telling you have to accept it.
And folks, this is not like a teenager or this is not a minor. This is a full-grown adult that was clearly distressed and targeting again. And we cannot hammer this home enough. Christian white children.
So let me ask you this, Kip. Mm-hmm. How is it that the feds can show up at someone's house for an internet search, or if they were at a protesting, let's say, but according to what she just wrote, she's actually been planning this since 2021.
Yeah.
So how can the feds show up at some people's homes the next day, but yet she was planning this, it seems like, for 2 years? And
well, we'll go into it a little bit more on the third page too, but just to kind of hit on that. I've said it from the beginning, and I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody when I say this, but you cannot convince me, and I cannot be convinced, that somebody didn't know something about this. Planning this for 2 years. She had all of these, she was living with her parents. She had all these firearms and this and that and whatever. And then all of a sudden it happens, and everyone's, completely just has amnesia. Oh, well, we had no idea. Oh, well, we didn't know. And the parents had claimed, and again, I can't verify this because I don't have all the information in front of me, but as far as what I've heard, the parents had, they claimed to have known that she had firearms, but then they said they didn't know if she had any more, if she got rid of them, this, that, and whatever. I mean, if you're planning something for 2 years, and obviously I don't have a lot of law enforcement experience with this, but I would imagine in that 2-year process, and it could have been longer than 2 years. We don't know. That's just all we know.
I'm just taking what she said.
Yeah, just going off of what she said. Exactly.
Yeah. She said she was almost caught in 2021.
There's got to be something in that 2 years that somebody missed, and it.
Do we know what she was almost caught about in 2021?
No, we don't.
No,
that's the whole thing.
We're sort of cliffhanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the schedule that she had, and folks, she had a detailed schedule, and I'm about to read it off to you. At the top of the page, it says, number 1, later schedule, and it's got a sticky note in the top right corner. It says, lunch may be around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., ? It says 6:30 a.m., desired, I guess is what that says. 7 a.m., get dressed. 7:05 a.m., 8:55 a.m., and then it's blocked by the sticky note, with stuffed animals and possessions. 9 a.m., eat breakfast at home with a heart around it. 9:30 a.m., pack up special belongings in backpacks. 9:50 a.m., test knife and glass breaker, parentheses, dad's old cars. 10 a.m., leave for Royal Range, 19 to 20 minutes. 10:20 a.m., gear up and set up guns in trunk, parentheses, assemble. Get out vest with mags inside, in parentheses. 11:20 a.m., final videotape, 10 minutes. 11:30 a.m., blank. 11:35 a.m., leave for Covenant School. 12 p.m., arrive at Covenant. Check parking lot for security. That's important. We're going to come back to that. 12:05, arrive in designated parking space. She had a designated parking space where she knew she was going to go. 12:05 to 12:10, prepare for the attack. I believe this is 12... folks, it's kind of scribbled out. I would say that's probably 12:15, 12:20. Lock and load all weapons. 12:33, open fire towards, I would assume, southwest entrance. Yep, that's what it says, SW entrance. And then at the bottom, I want to say that says, let massacre begin, time to die, XXX.
Very explicit, very well planned out on her part.
Documented the entire thing. It was premeditated. I mean, it just goes to prove right there on that page. Check for security in parking lot.
If security had been there, there's chances are.
Oh, there's not chances she wouldn't have.
She wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have done it.
No.
Yep. Folks, I know that was probably a difficult listen for y'all. I know it was. But the thing that we've been driving home, that we've been telling everybody, as Republicans and as conservatives, and we've talked about this in Nashville, we got to get rid of soft targets. We can't have them anymore.
Gun-free zones.
Gun-free zones have got to go. They have to go.
You know, here's the thing. I don't care what new laws you have, what laws you can make up even. People will figure out how to sidestep any law in order to do their attack.
Carry out their plan.
They are going to carry out. This was actively planned attack.
Yeah.
And they are looking for that soft target.
Yep.
And without a soft target, I mean, look what would have happened if Opry Mills did not have armed security.
Yep.
What happens if the other school that she looked at didn't have armed security?
Yeah. And that's why the argument that the left has used, and yeah, I'm saying the left because I've heard it for years, is that we need to get rid of firearms. This just goes to show you that she quite literally picked the place that she knew did not have any firearms. I mean, it's point blank.
It's 98.4% of all mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. But again, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse here.
No, please.
But any kind of planned attack, it doesn't matter what law you have in place. That law is going to be broken for that planned attack.
Last time I checked, criminals don't follow the law, or they wouldn't be criminals.
They wouldn't be criminals. That's correct.
I mean, now I
wholeheartedly agree.
Hey, every now and then somebody get a speeding ticket. Something happened, you know. But,
run a stop sign.
Yeah, it happens. We all have been caught from time to time doing some things.
Didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to, but this is different. We're in a whole different ball game here, folks. And I, you know, we cannot have any more gun-free zones. We just can't. I mean, the soft targets are, and I hate to use the word targeted again, but these calculated attacks we've seen over and over and over again, of where these people pick places where they know, and she says it in these pages, I hope my body count is high.
Yeah, it's in there.
I mean,
several times.
Yeah, what what do you? Here's the thing, there's been several folks that have said this in Nashville, is that, you can't legislate against evil.
No,
you can't. I think that's true. But here's the deal. One thing that no one on the left can dispute, and I challenge anybody on the left to dispute at any point in time, a good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun every single time. Every time.
Even if you don't get the bad guy, you're still going to interrupt him.
Exactly.
And
distract them.
Yes.
Stop them. Maybe get them off somewhere away from the children. Whatever. A good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun, whether that's law enforcement, whether that's a citizen that's exercising their Second Amendment right, whether that's, could be a teacher. We're going to try to bring that bill next year. Could be a teacher, could be a football coach, could be a softball coach, could be a volunteer that's trained, certified, has gone through mental health screening, that knows what they're doing. The law enforcement's on the board with these folks, that knows this person is at this school ready if something happens. And let me tell you something. We were sitting in committee. I'm privileged to serve on Civil Justice Sub and Civil Justice Full. It's my favorite committee. That's where all the gun bills come through, and I thank the Speaker for putting me on there, because he told me that he knew I was a big Second Amendment guy and wanted me on there. I sat on this committee, and I told folks, they said, well, Moms Demand Action came in there. Folks, for who don't know who Moms Demand Action is, that's a communist group that's against guns in any capacity, way, shape, or form. Well, they came in, they said, well, we don't think that there should be firearms in schools. We don't even think there should be SROs in schools.
That's right.
That's the first woman said that, and I, obviously my blood pressure's rising. And then the second lady said, well, no, we want SROs, but they need to have experience, and we're okay with SROs as long as they come from the sheriff's department, the city, or wherever, and they're experienced.
They probably didn't want them to have guns, though.
No. Well, the second lady was okay with the SROs. So I got a chance to speak, and I said, let me ask you something. And this was before we put the money in for SROs. I said, in one of the counties that I represent at the time, and I won't name which county, they haven't had an SRO at an elementary school for 6 months because their SRO had to have surgery on his foot, and the county couldn't put another deputy there because they were already tapped out. They couldn't get any more deputies. I said, so what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We don't have SROs in that one school. That school is unprotected. What are we supposed to do? Oh, well, so I said, so you're okay with children being left without an SRO defenseless? You're okay with that? Well, no. I said, no, nothing. No, nothing. I would rather there be somebody there with a firearm every single time. I love every one of our SROs. I know they're doing everything they can, but we've got retired veterans. We've got community leaders that would love to go through training if they have to, whatever that looks like, that would more than happy, if I can get tongue twisted here, folks, excuse me, my blood pressure's going up, that would be glad to go and volunteer at these schools and just sit there and protect these kids. What are we going to do? We're just going to let them sit there defenseless? And what about Davidson County that's rejected the funding for their SROs? They don't want to talk about that.
Rejected.
They don't want to talk about that now. Rejected funding to protect kids. Now, you're not going to hear that from the left.
They don't want to protect kids because if they want to protect kids, why are they so in for abortion?
Well, it doesn't fit their narrative,
exactly,
as we always talk about.
But see, here's the thing, though. The narrative has been absolutely destroyed because I want to bring this up. Where did this woman learn this hate?
Mm-hmm. You're right. That's a good point. Come on, Lawrence. That's a good point.
Do you want me to tell you where I think they learned it from?
It's critical race.
Why not?
It's critical race theory, but where are they learning critical race theory?
Through the schools.
In school systems and colleges.
Well, and she was obviously bathed in the doctrine of the left. I mean, as we can see from her transgender stuff and everything else, and her hate for specifically, folks, and we're going to keep drilling this home until you memorize it, targeting Christian white children.
You know what was funny about that though? Aren't they supposed? They tell us that we can't put them in. We can't target them. Mm-hmm. But yet she's calling these white Christian children, and you cleaned it up. But I'm going to say the word faggots. Mm-hmm. She used the word faggots twice.
Yep.
To describe these children.
Yep. Sure did. Kids. Elementary school children. Yep.
So he cleaned it up. He said F.
Yep.
But,
An S.
An S, yeah.
But yeah, I mean the actual one was a bunch of little faggots. Mm-hmm. Blank you faggots, your white privileges.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly where she came from.
Yeah.
She went to the school.
She went to the school.
She was white privileged. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to say something that's very, very controversial here, but I'm just going to say it. I'd like to turn in my white privilege card if I can.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know if I've gotten anything from it.
Yeah. I had a guy call me out on a social media platform. Obviously, he was a raging lefty Democrat. And he said, they were talking about me being the youngest member of the legislature and whatever. And he chimed in and said, well, just another white politician riding on granddaddy's money. And I thought, my granddaddy died in a semi-truck about a year after I was born. He fought in World War II, and I ain't never got a penny from him. So I wish I had some of that granddaddy's money, but I hadn't seen any of it yet. They might have lost it in a well or something somewhere. But
the big thing, he served his country.
He did, World War II.
He did, but, here's the thing.
And shout out truckers, too, by the way.
Absolutely.
Throw that out there. Truckers for America, baby.
You had the white part down, but you didn't have the privilege. You've had to work for your privilege.
I have.
Not?
Yeah, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I've worked hard to do a lot of stuff. I mean, there's and again, please don't take this as I'm tooting my own horn. I got a great family that's set me up for success and done all the right things, but I worked hard to get where I am. I mean,
didn't nobody give it to you?
No,
right?
I knocked on close to 4,000 doors when I was running, and worked 6 days a week and gained 40 pounds and sunburnt skin and looked like a wild man out there. But I
ate a lot of catfish, didn't you?
A lot of catfish. Some good catfish and some all right catfish. But I ain't had nobody give it to me.
We're talking about this, and that's another part that bothers me is the slow walking from the police, law enforcement.
Yep.
The state executive committee meeting, we issued a resolution for the release of this manifesto in April.
Yep.
But it doesn't fit the narrative.
It doesn't fit the narrative. But here's where I'm going with this. This is what bothers me. Tennessee law enforcement, and when you say Tennessee law enforcement other than the Metro Police in Nashville, TBI, also claimed they were asked by the FBI not to release the manifesto. Mm-hmm. And this needs to be pointed out.
Yeah.
Even though in another catch-22, the FBI said it was not terrorism, therefore the FBI had no jurisdiction. So the FBI steps in, and we've talked about the FBI coming into 2 counties in Tennessee, one being Hickman County, one being Chester County,
That's correct.
Where they actually killed an honorable discharge veteran. And as of today, we don't know any reasons.
Yep.
We've heard speculation.
We have.
But we don't know any reasons. There's nothing definite. The only answer from the FBI is none of your business.
Well, see, and that was the whole point I was trying to make earlier is when, notice that the feds can show up the next day for something for an internet search, but they can't stop a mass shooting when it's obviously somebody was planning it for more than 2 years.
And the same thing is with the main shooter.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The same thing. The government failed its people.
So let me even bring this home even harder. I'm about to really punch right in the mouth.
I was going to back up.
Do we need to back up? Yeah.
So I want to talk about, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 4 mass shootings here lately within the last couple of years where a manifesto was written. Mm-hmm. We had the El Paso shooter out there at Walmart.
Yep.
We had the Jacksonville shooter just like back in August down in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. We had the Christchurch shooter.
Yes.
Down in New Zealand.
Yes, sir.
And then we had the San Diego shooter at the synagogue. And all these people had written a manifesto starting from 20 pages on up.
Did Parkland have a manifesto?
No.
I don't think so.
No, Parkland did not have a manifesto.
That we know of.
Right.
Hang on to that Jacksonville. I want to come back to that.
Keep going.
We
keep
will,
going.
but here's the point I'm trying to make.
Yep.
Those manifestos, or at least the information from the manifestos, were all released within 24 hours because it fit their narrative.
Correct.
Right. That's my point.
That's what I'm trying to say. All 4 of these fit a narrative. This did not fit a narrative because it was a white privilege. Okay, I'm going to say it. If you want to use, I'm going to use your words against you.
Yeah.
It was a white privileged person that went after white privilege, and they were racist at even then how they were explaining it. Because how many times does she use the word white, and how many times does she use the word cracker? Let's reverse that, and let's say it was targeted for black children. Do you think that manifesto would not have been released within 24 hours? Or let's say 24 minutes.
Right off the bat.
It would have been released because all of these other shooters, the El Paso shooter was against Hispanics. The Jacksonville shooter was because he was mad at black people. The Christchurch was Muslims. The San Diego was against Jews in the synagogue. Mm-hmm. But see, all of those fit the narrative, and those were released, or the information from them were released within 24 hours. 7 months later, we are now seeing three pages that had to been, let's face it, stolen.
Probably.
Okay, out, and was released.
And they're horrible. Just imagine
what the rest of it.
Yeah.
How many pages were there? 180
from what I've been
something.
Told, it's close to 200.
Yeah.
And then we've got 3.
And
but let me tell you something. I don't think we need any more than 3. Those 3 right there, that should tell you everything you need to know. Right there. That gives it point blank. Now, obviously, I'm a big government transparency guy. I think we need the whole thing. But I'm talking about from a principled standpoint. Those 3 disgusting pieces right there tells you everything you need to know, first off, about the weaponization of the DOJ. We've been talking about it for months, folks. We're not making this up. We don't just sit here like 3 lunatics and tell you things just because it makes us feel good.
Because we're conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. We're conspiracy theorists, and we're all, this, that, and whatever. We don't just sit here and tell you stuff to make ourselves feel good, and we're not pushing any kind of narrative. We're telling you a story about what's going on in your government, and everything that we've talked about relating to this incident. I mean, have we missed the ball on any of it, Chris? I don't think we've missed it at all. We've hit the nail on the head about everything. And I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, look at us, we're Mr. Right about everything," but there comes a point in time where you have got to wake up and realize that the government is not your friend. They're not.
What did Ronald Reagan said the 8 most scariest words in the English language?
I'm here from the government. I'm here to help you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I may not have it exactly right,
but that's where it goes. But you know what? We're talking about conspiracy theorists here. Okay, and I'll take that. I mean, I'll take that almost with a badge of honor now.
Yeah.
Because what is today's conspiracy theorists Used to be 2 or 3 or 5 years later, turns out to be true.
Yep.
Now it's 2 or 3 months later. Before too long, it's going to be 2 or 3 days later.
Well, and and I'm not, when I say the government's not your friend, I'm not. So we've got some wonderful public servants across the state, and there's some folks that, really try hard to do the right thing. And I'm not meaning everybody that's involved in some way, shape, or form in government, certainly not meaning that. But I mean, the weaponization of the Department of Justice is so obvious and in our face that I don't know how you can't see it. I really don't.
Well, it's rules for thee, not for
And
me.
not for me. That's exactly right.
You know what else is kind of funny? And it's kind of been glossed over with everything that's happening. But did you guys hear about the Colorado mass shooter that was actually found dead in a women's restroom that he had planned? And nobody's heard about this because it didn't fit the narrative.
I did not know that.
Because this was a Hispanic gentleman that snuck into a resort. Mm-hmm. Okay, now here's the crazy part.
In Colorado,
found dead. He left a note stating that he wasn't really there to kill people. He wasn't a murderer, so he wound up killing himself. So I'm going to say this: a CIA handler right now is probably pretty pissed off. I mean, here I am, conspiracy theorist. There, I said it because they didn't do their job.
Oh Lord!
And here's why I say that. It's tongue in cheek.
always expect the unexpected.
It's tongue in cheek and it's a joke. But how do you get a rifle up on a trolley car? You could only get to this resort from a trolley car into a women's bathroom and hide out. How does that happen without someone seeing that, especially in Colorado?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is very anti-gun, There's a lot of places that AR-15s have even been illegal to own in Colorado.
Yeah, state bans. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They haven't done state bans, but they've done city bans. Stuff,
that's right. That's
and county bans.
Yeah, city bans. That's right.
So,
that's right.
and like I said, the guy's name was Diego Barajas Medina. And like I said, I put on there in my little notes, some government spook is mad that the guy killed himself and didn't do his job. And I mean, I hate saying it, but you know what? This woman, based upon this manifesto that was released, at least in 2021, knew that she was guilty of doing something.
Yes, and was worried about being caught. Yeah. And said, I almost got caught, but I didn't. So I wonder how. So
I'd like to know what she almost got caught about. I'd like to see the police reports on some of that because there should be something there.
I tell you what I want to see. I want to see the toxicology report.
Yeah, that hadn't been released.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Well, if you're, what's kind of funny, she's transitioning from a female to a male. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the writings, what man writes heart emojis on things? She was still female.
Yeah.
Even
as far as I know, yes, sir.
I mean, what male that even a homosexual male doesn't go around doing heart emojis and things like that?
This is a 20-something-year-old female that was having conversations and toting dolls with her everywhere she went.
Yeah, she had her stuffed animals.
Toting stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And talking to stuffed animals. Now, look. Hey, when I was 5, I had a teddy bear. His name was Teddy, and I toted him around. But I'm a grown man, and I don't know many adults that tote around stuffed animals and talk to them.
She's like a year or two older than you.
Yeah, 20. I think she's 27, 28.
Yeah,
28.
She was 27.
Now, Jeff Dunham's got a puppet, right? His Jeff Dunham, he's the one with the puppet.
Yeah, but he makes millions of dollars with that puppet.
And he's actually, folks, if you don't know this, I hate it. Man, we got a spoiler alert coming right here. It's Jeff Dunham talking, and it's not the puppet talking. So. I mean, I know it's a spoiler alert. I might have just ruined somebody's tickets, but there's just a lot. I mean, in these three pages, there's a lot to unpack. I just...
Well, as we got this information today, and I got to thinking about the main shooter, you notice how quiet that's got?
Yeah.
You don't hear nothing.
You know, and I'm going to tell you something. This is, and again, this is the conspiracy theorist in me.
Uh-oh.
With everything that is happening, and, you know, we have the main shooter. We have, you know, the 3 pages of this manifesto being, quote unquote, taken. But who's to say that it wasn't? They didn't let it be taken because they want to keep the left hand busy so the right hand doesn't know what's going on.
That's right.
I almost like, okay, so we focused on this. You know, we've been focusing on this. But what are we not seeing that may be out there?
The bigger picture.
The bigger picture that we're not supposed to see. And that's what I keep looking at. You know, I was looking at that today. You know, obviously, yeah, when I have a half a dozen people that contacted me before noontime saying, hey, this has happened. Mm-hmm. This is happening. You need to look at it.
Oh, man, I had people blowing me up all day.
All day. Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy? You knew what you were going to talk about before you came in. Mm-hmm. I knew what I was going to talk about.
And I knew.
Yeah.
Did we even talk to each other?
We didn't talk to each other.
It was just
I didn't talk to you guys until I walked in here, you know, 15 minutes before the show
it was
started.
like a, hey, we'll see you next Monday. You know, same thing. We don't coordinate. I mean, you know, we sit here for a couple minutes and say, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. But it's not like a, hey, I'm going to say this, then you chime in on that, and then you chime in on this. No, it's right off the cuff.
Here's a prime example. I got here first. You came in second.
Yes,
Lawrence came in third.
Yep.
And then I said, hey, you know about the manifesto?
Yep. Yep.
I said, we got to talk about this.
Yep. And I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to read
had
it.
my little bitty notes.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, yes, sir.
We're going to read it. Yes, sir.
And one other thing that I think we need to touch on, there will be more to come in days to come about this manifesto.
I hope there's more released.
I'm like you. We need that toxicology report as well. We want the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep.
But another thing that's got me concerned, and I'm pretty sure it's got you guys concerned as well, what went on at the White House this morning. Mm-hmm. Where all these Palestinians are protesting outside the White House, trying to climb the fence, doing everything. Mm-hmm. I say let's load them up and let's carry them one-way ticket over to the Gaza Strip and let them out.
Yep.
Be done.
But see, here's the thing, though, and that was happening at the White House, but in Tacoma, Washington, there was another Palestinian protest, and they're blocking the port. That was being done out there. I'm going to tell you something. You want to know? We've seen all these things happening. I'm going to tell you what.
Open borders.
I tell you what I feel is going to happen is that we're going to have jihad released here in America, like it was on Israel. We talked about this on Friday. I know of at least 7 training camps right now that they know of, with the closest one being in North Carolina. So I will tell you this, it's almost like Kit was saying, it's almost like our government is allowing these things to happen as a best case scenario. At a worst case scenario, they're helping it.
This current administration is.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
That is correct.
And that's what, a lot of people want to say. They say everything, but if Donald Trump was still in that White House, this would not be happening.
Well, and I tell you this, we saw it happen with Obama. Matter of fact, Obama told Trump, you're going to be in war with North Korea. War is going to happen with North Korea. He was having all kinds of problems with Iran. All kinds of things were going on. Trump comes in, and I tell you what, since I've been alive, I think we had the 3 years of most peace I have ever seen since I've been alive, where we weren't involved in some things. And then all of a sudden, Trump leaves. And you both know I'm not a huge Trump fan. I mean, I voted for him. I'm probably going to have to wind up voting for him again. But, I'm not one of these Trumpers or think that Trump's everything.
The day that Biden took office, everything went to hell in a handbag.
Hey, we were at $1.60 in gas when the day before Biden took office. I tell you what, I don't. If liberals are listening to this, I would much rather have some mean tweets and $1.60 gas again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you. And if you want to talk about, he would have gotten us into wars. We would have had nuclear war with Trump. We'd have done this. Why do we have 3 years of the most peaceful times that we ever had under Trump?
Donald Trump was president right now. Russia would have never invaded Ukraine.
Nope.
The Israel conflict
Would have never
happened. The border would not be absolutely wide open.
The wall would probably be finished.
The wall would probably be about done. And we would be cruising right along like we were doing. Economy was blowing up.
You think about this, and then Biden the other day trying to win people over. It's election time.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
He said that when he took office, there would not be 1 foot of wall built.
Now he's wanting to build just 20 miles.
It's just 20 miles. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
And didn't he sell all the material we had down there?
I'd heard that. I know he's depleted our oil reserves.
Oh, yeah.
That's been a while. But, yeah, we have no reserves in oil either. So there's that. Unless they've upped that.
From my understanding, not only that, but here's the other thing. And I'm sorry, but it's just, I can't imagine either the incompetence or stupidity or however you want to say it, but why are you telling when we're about ready to, I'm sorry, folks, but we are this close. I mean, and I'm holding my fingers about a centimeter apart from World War III, and we're talking about that we don't have enough munitions.
Or oil and gas.
Or oil and gas, but I'm saying we're going out and we're saying right now, our government just said it the other day, we don't have enough munitions for war. Why would you tell, even if it's true? Why are you going to tell your enemy? That's like going around in a defensive situation and pulling out your gun and go, oh, I'm trying to hold you off with my gun, but by the way, my gun has no bullets.
It's not loaded.
Yeah, it's empty. But just I just want you to know.
Yeah, I got a gun here, but it's not loaded.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yep.
I know we don't have enough munitions because we're leaving it in Afghanistan.
Other countries used to fear the United States.
Now they make fun of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you blame them? I mean, good Lord.
We're the laughing stock of the world.
I don't blame them for laughing at us. I mean, I'm embarrassed. I've said this multiple different times. Joe Biden is an embarrassment. He is.
And his administration.
Yes,
it ain't him alone.
No, all of them.
All of them are a bunch of,
I don't really, I mean, I'm just sitting here, I'm just trying to think. I know the Obama administration was about as bad as it gets, and a lot of the people that are in the Biden administration was in the Obama administration. But I don't remember the Obama administration being this incompetent. I mean, they were evil, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the incompetence.
I think they were setting a stage.
I mean, think
about it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's I feel like personally, and y'all can chime in, but I feel like it's more blatant now than it used to be.
Oh,
there's so much stuff
that's. They can get away with anything.
It's just flat out right in your face. I mean, right in your face. Does anybody do anything? No. I mean, look at Mayorkas.
Oh Lord.
I mean, we ain't got. Good Lord, is that how much time we have?
Yes, we got 7 minutes fastest hour in radio.
Shout out to Strikers again. Good Lord. We don't want to go down the rabbit trail on Mayorkas because we only got 7 minutes left.
Look, we can.
The only thing that I was going to say, another thing, and I think you got the same clip that I got.
Yeah.
Federal Appeals Court, AR-15s are not covered by the Second Amendment. I didn't see anywhere in my Second Amendment it said what caliber, whether it said muzzleloader or shotgun, long rifle, pistol.
See, the AR-15, at the end of the day, the AR-15 is the easiest thing to pick on.
Yeah, right.
Because of the ease of use and the as many of them they are.
The acronym assault rifle is what they love.
Which it does not stand for. But
it stands for Armalite rifle. But I'm going to tell you something. If you look at ballistically speaking, it is a 223 bullet diameter. We have a 22.22. is 3/100ths of a diameter bigger than a 22. And everybody says, oh, a 22 doesn't do anything. A 20, they laugh at a 22. But the 223 is 3/100ths of a diameter bigger.
It's just one little, like you said, centimeter.
I mean, it's
it
not
ain't
even
a centimeter.
It's not even the size of a pencil lead difference. Mm-hmm. So why the evilness of it? And I'm going to tell you something.
Because it's scary looking, Lawrence. It's just, they're terrifying. They're scary looking.
Okay, if you say they are,
they're scary.
I mean,
well, at the same token, the news media, when this broke out in Israel, and Hamas invaded, they started, all the news media jumped on, look at those AR-15s. Those were not AR-15s.
They're M4s.
They're M4s.
That are fully automatic, that are, how many times have we said, and people have come out and said, and I've asked my dad this, they're saying these are the weapons of war. This is what they use in war. If you go overseas with an AR-15, you are going to get smoked.
Quick.
I mean, I don't own a fully automatic weapon.
You can't. I mean, shot them. You can't control them. Not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're expensive to get. That's another thing I tried to tell these Democrats in Nashville. I made a comment on committee. I said, look, you can't just roll up. You can't roll into Walmart and buy a fully loaded, decked out M4 and roll out. That's not, y'all are acting like it's, but let me tell you something else. I can take a 12 gauge with double aught buck and I can go through that wall right there.
Well, here's the other thing, too.
You can get that at Walmart.
With that slug.
That weapon, for you to get that fully automatic weapon, has to be made before 1986 on top of it.
And there you go.
It's not like the
It's a small pool of weapons.
It is a very, very small pool of weapons, and it is very, very, very heavily regulated.
Yes, sir.
But the left will lead you to believe right opposite.
Well, I mean,
I haven't seen a mass shooting with a fully automatic weapon yet.
I haven't either.
I don't think I have either. But like I said, I mean, you could take a 12 gauge and go through that wall right there.
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
100%.
None of the mass shootings that have occurred on American soil have been an M4.
You can take a 5-gallon drum
just using that one
5-gallon drum of gasoline and a lighter. Do the same thing.
You know what the FBI concluded here more than 10 years ago, that the single most deadly one-shot round was? It was a 125-grain jacketed hollow point .357. That was the single deadliest round according to the FBI statistics, one-shot deadliest round. And a .223 bullet on average is 52 grains. So you're talking about a .357. I mean, when I carry a .357, I carry 158 grains. That .357 is 3 times bigger, that revolver, than an AR-15 round. Here's the other thing, too. You know why the AR-15 was really come into play and used during the Vietnam War? That bullet is not designed to kill. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to kill. But when you go look at the military, when they came up with this weapon and they came up with this round, the whole reason for it was it got 3 people off the battlefield, not just one. And the reason why is because it was going to injure, and it would take 2 people to drag the injured man back off the battlefield. So you had 3 people taken off the battlefield instead of 1. So that bullet was not even designed to kill people. Yep. It was designed to maim and to hurt. Mm-hmm. Again, when you have your lefties, when they sit there and talk to you, oh, the AR-15 is so dangerous, then remind them of a 22. And ask them that.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you. You can do a lot of damage with a 22 as well.
I'm going to tell you right
Lord
now.
Have mercy.
We got a minute left, but I'll say this. If you give me a choice between using a 22 or 223 and it's less than 100 yards, I'm taking the 22.
22 any day of the week.
Shout out to Striker Steakhouse. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please tune in next week on Monday, 5 o'clock. Go to Kip Capley for State Representative on Facebook. Kip Capley for State Representative on Facebook. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the content.
God bless everyone.
God bless everybody.
God bless everybody. And I tell you what, Kip, keep doing the fight for us.
We're going to.
I mean, you have done a wonderful job, and people do not realize the work that you've done and the work that you're going to continue to do.
Absolutely. We're going to keep fighting.
Yes, sir. All right. Y'all. God bless you, Chris. God bless you, Kip.
Y'all
God bless the people of Lawrence County and the state of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, have a good day.